Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, g'day. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Economics Mate, and we're going to be talking about some of these changes that have been made to these medium tanks, because boy, Cleveland, Ohio, are some of these buffs and nerfs very interesting indeed. Now, the Lion is going to be buffed in terms of engine power, so it goes from 840 to 865 horsepower. The reload speeds have gone from 17.26, 3.94 and 4.96 to 15.34 for the reserve shell, of course, which you shouldn't be shooting at all, 3.72 and 4.75 respectively. So yeah, the reloads for the auto reloader have improved, so gives you a slightly better DPM or damage per minute. The armor in the turret has been improved, which is actually very, very nice and welcomed. The shell velocity has decreased, which is a shame. So you're doing 880, 800, and 700. It seems that most of the tanks have been rebalanced by decreasing the shell velocity. So interesting take there. Not sure why, but there you go. The view range has also decreased from 260 to 255. So it's been buffed and it's also been nerfed, and that's, I guess, where the rebalance comes. I still don't think the Lion is strong. I think it's average at best, and with these changes, it'll still likely be average at best. But anyway, the Project Murat has been buffed, it seems. Obviously, albeit, yes, the shell velocity has decreased to 890, 800, and 730 respectively, but view range has decreased to 260, but I mean, it's only a 5 meter difference, and you can just, equip this thing with optics and you'll be fine. Your reload speed has increased though, because you have 390 alpha now damage as standard instead of 370, which is quite nice. And you go from 650 to 685 brake horsepower, so which means you do have a better top speed ever so slightly, so just keep that in mind. Now, your E50M, the E50M. Now, I will say the Project Murat, it's a nice buff there in terms of the rebalance. I think, yes, some things were nerfed, but I mean, overall, it is a very nice rebalance to that tank. It does deserve it. Now, the E50M, I mean, the E50M is still going to be strong, regardless whether or not reactive armor has been removed. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, and a lot of pro players are saying this as well. Reactive armor in pubs is not as effective as it is in comps or on tours. So, as a comp tank, the E50M is not going to be as ridiculously strong as it has been in recent months because of reactive armor. So, thankfully, they're removing reactive armor from the E50M, because honestly, it just doesn't need it. Your horsepower has decreased, so again, it's decreased, so it's ever so slightly decreased. You've got basically almost 100 horsepower less, so it's about 75 horsepower less. Alpha damage has increased though to 360, so that's a very nice little alpha buff there. Almost 500 on the HE, which is pretty ridiculous. Now, your standard shell has gone from APCR to AP. Now, personally, I love that change because it means you don't lose penetration the further the distance the shell has to go, because AP is just AP. Doesn't matter how far the distance is, it's still going to pen regardless. Which means your shell velocity goes from 1,090 to 850 meters per second. Again, it doesn't really matter. Your pen has decreased ever so slightly, so now it's 241 on standard rounds, and on your on your premium, you're doing 295. Again, nothing calibrated shells can't fix. Reload time is increased to 7.29, but again, that's in tangent with, of course, the alpha damage increase. And your view range has now gone down to 255, of course, with the removal of reactive armor. So I still think the E50M is still going to be bonkers to drive, especially now with the increased alpha damage. It's going to be, pretty devastating. Now, the CS63, a much needed buff indeed. 915 horsepower now, up from 864 in terms of engine power. The max speed is now increased to 60 kilometers per hour. Your concealment while stationary is now much better in terms of percentages, so 46%, 39%, and 9% respectively. Your aim time has now decreased to 3.4 seconds, which is very nice. Your hit points are down to 1,750. Again, doesn't really make a difference, really. Your shell velocity has decreased, yes, but in terms of your standard rounds, but your premium rounds now doing 1,300 meters per second, which is pretty damn crazy. I think the CS63, and Peter can correct me on this, it was always a good tank. It just needed that extra bit more. And I think this rebalance will probably put it back on the map. But I still think it probably should have gotten a little bit more armor. That would be my take on it. Now, T62A, much needed buff. The tank it's decent, but it's just not as good as it used to be. You got a 6.62 second reload time, so DPM has increased. Your dispersion is now at 3.336 as standard, which is very, very, very nice. You got 650 horsepower now instead of 620. Your hull armor has improved. Your view range has slightly gone down to 255, but I mean, overall, the changes have been a buff. This is a buff to the tank because it deserves it. The Object 140 is another tank that honestly, seriously deserves some love, and thank God Wargaming have decided to give it some love. It's now got a 64 kilometer per hour top speed, which is a lovely 757 horsepower. 5.5 second is your reload now from 5.66. Your armor and your turret has improved, thank God, and your view range is now at 260. So yes, slight decrease in view range, but I mean, overall, it is a very nice buff. Hopefully, we can see the return of the glory of the Object 140. The T22 medium, I don't understand why Wargaming have decided to buff this tank. You mean you've increased the dispersion to 0.345, or in this case, decreased the amount of dispersion you have, right? So it's now more accurate. Your aim time is now at 3.9 seconds, which means it's even more accurate. Your engine power is at 650. So yes, your terrain resistance may be slightly worse. Your acceleration might not be as good, but you've made the tank more accurate, which it doesn't need. Anyway, so that means the tank's more accurate, which means the tank is already strong as it is. It doesn't need to be stronger. The M60 turret rotation now is at 47.98 degrees per second, I'm assuming. So it's better. It's been improved. Armor in the turret has been improved. So turret armor is improved, but the whole armor has been weakened. So yeah, I guess it's a good balance. I don't know. The shell speed has decreased, and the view range has decreased as well. So I mean, yeah, some decent changes. Now, the M48 pattern is probably the biggest hit of them all, with the dispersion being decreased, which is quite nice, to 0.326. I quite like that. Aim time is now at 3.5. I quite like that. For your shell velocity has decreased significantly on all your shells, which is going to be a big hit, especially for the HE and the premium ammo. It's going to be a big hit. The shell type is gone from AP to APCR, which I don't particularly like. That's not going to be good. That's not going to be good. Your reactive armor has been removed, which I'm all for. Thank you. Get rid of reactive armor. You shouldn't need it. And your view range has been decreased. So a bit of a nerf there, unfortunately. The 4202 armor in the turret has been improved, which is great. For the L7A1 gun, your shell's velocity has increased, which is quite nice on your standard shells. Decreased on your Premo and obviously on your HE. So do keep that in mind. Your shell pen is now at 310. Your gold shell pen, sorry, at 310. 6.71 second aim time, and the other gun, again, a significant decrease in shell velocity, which is going to be a big turn of the events here. There's a few more tanks to go through, or there's quite a few more mediums, but I'm going to stop it there for now. I just wanted to go through the main sort of big hitters. Anyway, that's a short summary of half of the medium tanks. We'll go through the next of them in another video. I want to know what your thoughts are. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Are these good changes? Are they bad changes? I don't know how I feel about them. I agree with some of them. I disagree with some of the other ones. Overall, I feel like it's pretty good. But again, these are not final. That's why Wargaming in the Discord server put the different reactions. So you can react with a thumbs up or thumbs down, and then they can sort of use that as a general sort of idea of, you know, a compromise, essentially. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, look after yourselves, look after your friends and family, and stay safe on the battlefield, and let me know in the comments down below what you think of all these. All right, bye-bye.